In the event of my being a casualty, please send this book home to my mother, Mrs. E.C. Birrell, Stanley House, Paisley, Scotland.
It's kind of a homage to his work, but he filmed stuff pre-war, throughout the war, after the war, and he also built the smallest cinema in Scotland inside his house after the war. So he sort of to create his own platform, really, to celebrate his films and things, because that was the direction he wanted to take, was filmmaking. But when the war started, he signed up. He went to command a battalion of Gurkhas in the Indian Army and sort of waved goodbye to filmmaking dreams. So we're kind of seeing sort of picture of who he was as a person, but also his interpretation of the 20th century.
All of us at some time or other like to recall events that have taken place, but the passage of time often dims the mirror and the memories fade forever, unless some small spark lights the fire again.
You know, a lot of people, they only know their grandparents when they're older, especially. He died when I was young. I wasn't even a teenager yet. And so I got to know Harry in the prime of his life through this film.
My memory is not good, and as I write this diary some 2 years later, most of these memories, though dear to me, are fast fading. These times can never be again, for the war has changed us.
Not only have we got this incredible footage that he filmed, we've also got his diaries as well. So his diaries are what kind of really bind all this footage together, and they cover the period from the late 1920s through to the end of the war, Second World War.
What is it? Apprehension, grief, or just bad morale? The loss of freedom that the front line dictates?
He was a commander, he was a captain of a battalion of Gurkhas, and he just fell in love with his men. He took them swimming in the Arabian Gulf, and this was a point where most of these men had never seen the ocean. So, you know, he really made an effort.
Or is it homesickness? All my old pals. I wonder where they are now.
It's the perfect platform for this film. I'm really excited that it's Glasgow Film Festival. Obviously, Harry was from Glasgow, and Glasgow is incredibly dear to him. And you know, even after seeing so many places all over the world, he's like, you know, Scotland and Glasgow's where my heart is. And, you know, he made a film that was a combination of a lot of his work. It was about 3.5 hours long, and he wanted it to showcase on BBC and broadcast it, but they said it's too long. So he hired out the GFT and screened it to all his friends and his family, and that's really exciting. We're ending up in the very same cinema that he hired out to show his prized piece of work.